Is your business struggling to stand out from the crowd online? At Webamax, we specialize in turning clicks into customers. From SEO and PPC to social media management and stunning web design, we've got you covered. Boost your online presence and drive real results. Ready to take your business to the next level? Visit Webamax.com. That's Webimax.com for a free digital analysis. Rule the web with Webamax.com.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
Think you know the Brooks Ghost? Think again. Introducing the all-new, better-than-ever Ghost 16. Now with nitrogen-infused cushioning for lightweight, supreme softness that feels good every step, every street, every single day. So go ahead, take your daily joyride in the all-new nitrogen-infused Ghost 16. It'll turn your everyday miles into everyday endorphins. Let's run there. Head to brooksrunning.com to learn more.
With threats to our nation waiting around every corner, adaptability is more important than ever. When conditions change without notice, quick strategic thinking is crucial. And with obstacles consistently impending, determination is essential in overcoming them. It's this willingness, decisiveness, and resilience that sets Marines apart. With our fighting spirit, we don't just fight battles, we win them. Marines are the constant our nation counts on to fight the unknown. And through adaptable problem solving, we do just that. Learn more at marines.com.
Welcome back, Ram fans. This is Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. We are proud members of the Fans First Sports Network. That's fansfirstsports.com. You can also follow us on YouTube. Our channel is at LA Rams Up. I'm your host, Mark. You'll hear from my co-host, Tom, on occasion as well. Hey, we're not Rams insiders. We're just longtime fans who love talking about our Los Angeles Rams. Let's get to it. Welcome back, everybody. Episode 468 of Rams Up. We are going to have a discussion about NFL quarterbacks. Basically, we're going to touch on all 32 potential starting quarterbacks in the NFL, and I'm going to give you my evaluation of them from this perspective, the realistic possibility of each of these quarterbacks winning a Super Bowl. Before we get into that, it is episode 468, so I'm going to talk about a player who wore number 68 for the Rams, Kyle Turley. Now, you can talk about Turley from two perspectives. One, his playing career, and two, his impact on CTE and the NFL after his career was over. A 6'5", 309-pound tackle out of San Diego State, first-round pick of the New Orleans Saints. He was traded to the Rams in 2003 and signed a 5-year, $26.5 million extension, and he was paired with Orlando Pace, Pace on the left side, Turley on the right side, and it was in Week 7 of that year that Turley's career started to take a turn for the worse. Suffered a severe concussion after taking a knee to the back of the head, was cleared for practice, though, and started the next game. He ended up being involved in a heated exchange with Mike Martz, and Martz had to file a complaint with NFL security. Now, Mike Martz has said that he didn't know that Turley was struggling with his injuries, puts the blame on Rams leadership, that it really wasn't a known thing in the Rams coaching staff how much Turley was dealing with. This led to a lot of resentment, though, between Turley and the organization. He was eventually released by the Rams after failing a physical, ended up spending his entire 2004 and 2005 seasons out of football, and eventually returned Now, the NFL eventually tried to address the growing concerns about CTE, and Turley was a significant player in that movement, one of the first players to be diagnosed with CTE and also diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. Now, I can't do justice to what Turley went through after leaving the NFL. I'm going to point you to a Sports Illustrated article by Andy Bennett, that's Benit, in 2018, and he documents Turley's entire career. Turley was actually instrumental in the NFL's establishment of a hotline for players having suicidal thoughts, and actually ended up calling that hotline himself. Check out that article. Turley ended up being pretty impactful in that respect, and also was a big advocate for medical marijuana and its usage in treating CTE. Turley, a very good tackle, no doubt about it, but I think his legacy is more about his impact on addressing CTE after his career was over. And going back to that Mike Martz incident, I'm not trying to throw shade on Mike Martz. Read the article. He really claims he was out of touch with what was going on with Turley injury-wise. I'm not sure what the true story is, but read Bennett's article. It's really insightful. You have a different perspective on Kyle Turley after reading it. So I decided to take a few minutes, well, actually an entire segment here, to talk about the quarterback situation in the NFL. And the reason I wanted to do that is, well, a couple of reasons. One, just seeing quarterback rankings across the league, just all over the place. I saw one where they had Matthew Stafford as, I think it was 15th. And then Greg Cosell comes out and says Matthew Stafford's the best quarterback in the NFC. Trevor Sikkema, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, of Pro Football Focus, ranked all the quarterbacks in the league, and Stafford came in ranked number 7. Don't have a big issue with that. And then Tom Brady, very vocal about the decline of quarterback play in the NFL. And I'm not sure I necessarily agree with him. I think there are some really, really talented quarterbacks in the NFL that just play spectacular football week in and week out. The problem is so much is put on them. They are such an important cog to every NFL offense, and really the deciding factor in many cases of whether a team is going to have a winning record or a losing record. Defense is game planning to stop quarterbacks. Hey, there's a lot put on the modern NFL quarterback. I don't think the quarterback play has necessarily dropped. It's just gotten more and more challenging. You have to have arm strength. You have to have the brains. You have to have the commitment to study and prepare, have some mobility, be extremely tough. And there's very few guys that have it all. Now, what I have done for this segment is I have broken the NFL quarterbacks into a handful of categories from this perspective. Do they have all those things that it takes to win a Super Bowl in 2024? Could we count on these guys to win a Super Bowl? And this is disconnected from the team they happen to be playing on. Are they a quarterback that has everything it takes? And when we make this assessment, let's look at the last 10 Super Bowls. Who has won Super Bowls over the last 10 years? Patrick Mahomes has won 3. Tom Brady has won 4. Peyton Manning, Matthew Stafford, and Nick Foles have each won a Super Bowl. The winning quarterbacks in the last 10 Super Bowls: Mahomes, Brady, Manning, and Stafford, all who would I consider to be top-level, high-level, prime-cut NFL quarterbacks. And then there's Nick Foles. Not too shabby, but he just fell into a really good situation one year, I think. Certainly wouldn't put him in this category with Mahomes, Brady, Stafford, and Manning. And yes, of those 4, Stafford probably be the bottom of the heap. Not trying to say he's in that exact same category. I'm not trying to say he's a peer of Mahomes and Brady, but he's pretty darn close, or of Manning. So I got the quarterbacks broken into 5 groups, and I'll start at the bottom. I'm going to call them the prove-its, and mostly really young quarterbacks, first or second year guys that have some proving to do. Hey, any one of these guys could end up winning 3 or 4 Super Bowls for all I know. Need to see it. Bryce Young, second-year guy, did not look good last year, but hey, have we learned our lesson about burying quarterbacks selected in the first round? Give them a shot. Give them a chance. Bryce Young could end up being pretty good. Bo Nix is in a good situation with Sean Payton in Denver, but we know nothing about him as an NFL quarterback. Same with Drake May, J.J. McCarthy, Jaden McDaniels. All could end up winning multiple Super Bowls for all we know. Got to give it some time, though. Then there's Anthony Richardson. Got hurt early last year, but he looked pretty good. I think he's probably the most forgotten quarterback of these 32, but we can't say he's got what it takes to win a Super Bowl. And same with Will Levis. He is probably the second most forgotten quarterback in the league, along with Richardson. Not sure he has what it takes either. But hey, I'm not discounting any of these guys, but we have to be honest. Even Caleb Williams, got to see it on the field first. So those are the prove it guys. 8 quarterbacks, 8 starting quarterbacks in the NFL that have proved nothing at this point.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino. With cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Now, there's 4 quarterbacks that have had a chance to prove it and have not. And all of them are pretty good quarterbacks. I just think that they'd have to fall into an ideal situation, kind of like Nick Foles, to win a Super Bowl. I'm not counting on it. I'm betting against it. And those 4 are Daniel Jones, Derek Carr, Gardner Minshew, and Geno Smith. All of them actually really talented, but I'm just not buying it as Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. Now I got 5 guys that I'm calling the enigmas. And yeah, you know, they could, but there's something that's holding me back from saying they for sure have what it takes. One is Kyler Murray, injury prone, relies on his legs so much, his body language on the field. I've talked about this before. Too good to move on from, good enough to win a Super Bowl? I'm not so sure. And another one is Brock Purdy. If there's a 49er fan that stumbles across this podcast, they're going to have some comments on this one, but sorry, just not ready to pencil him in. Hey, maybe he's a Nick Foles type guy. He's obviously in a really good situation, and maybe he ends up winning a couple of Super Bowls, but I don't think it's going to be because of him. Another guy in this group, Baker Mayfield. Man, I love Baker Mayfield. My opinion on him changed so much due to his short time with the Rams. He's a bit of a gunslinger, a lot like Stafford, but I don't know. Not buying it quite yet. Could be wrong on him. And I'm actually kind of pulling for him. If he was in the AFC, I'd be all over pulling for Baker Mayfield. But leading the Bucs, sorry. And then the poster child for the enigmas, Russell Wilson. I don't know, man. I've been talking about him for several years. I think his play has deteriorated. Not sold on his leadership skills. Seems like a lot of his own teammates don't care for him. I know he's just keeping the seat warm there for Pittsburgh, but don't see it happening for Russell Wilson. And then there's Deshaun Watson. Not sure what to make of him. Only 28 years old. Seems like he's been around forever, but he hasn't really played that much, right? Extremely talented. 5-1 record last year before that high ankle sprain and a broken bone in his shoulder derailed this season. So we'll have to see how he comes back from that. But got a good team behind him. So maybe this is a Nick Foles situation, but I think Deshaun Watson is way more talented than Nick Foles. Now I got 9 guys that I'm calling the Qs, as in I just have significant questions about them, while some of them minor questions, others significant. I'll start with Aaron Rodgers. 40 years old, turns 41 in December, hasn't played a game since last September, and now he doesn't show up for the Jets' mandatory minicamp. Jets have a really good defense. All they wanted was a quarterback to lead them to the promised land. Rodgers got hurt, no fault of his own. Now he's coming back, highly paid, doesn't show up. Really weird. Regardless of how you feel about some of his opinions, you got to be asking, what's up with this guy? Is he ready to take the Jets to the Super Bowl? I don't know, man. I don't know. Probably the most physically talented quarterback in the league right now, but you got to check all the boxes, right? Toughness, willingness to prepare. I don't know. I got significant questions about Aaron Rodgers. CJ Stroud, I just have a minor question about him, really. I think he's perhaps the next great NFL quarterback, but we said that about some other guys that are also on this list. I'm predicting a Rams-Texans Super Bowl, so you know how I feel about CJ Stroud, but I'm not ready to put him in that top group yet. Then there's Lamar Jackson. So talented, but I don't know if he's got the ideal skill set to win a Super Bowl, unless he's willing to be Lamar Jackson. And it just seems like they get to the playoffs and they become a slightly different team on offense. Lamar 2-4 in the playoffs. Jordan Love, another guy kind of like Stroud, may be ready to put up in that top group. Just need to see a little bit more of him. If I'm a Packer fan, I'm thrilled about him. I put Stroud and Love as the 2 guys with the most potential moving forward, most likely to get elevated into this top group that I'm going to get to in a second, but not quite there. Then there's Dak Prescott, 2-5 in the playoffs, a great regular season quarterback, but just, I don't know. We all have that question about Dak Prescott, right? Even Cowboy fans, if they're being honest, they do as well. And another one is Joe Burrow, 5-2 in the playoffs. The question with him is his ability to stay healthy. If he stays healthy, he's a top 5 quarterback in this league. Just has not been able to stay healthy. That's really my only question about him. 2 guys that are very similar, in my opinion, Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence. Uber talented, as they like to say. Herbert 0-1 in the playoffs. His team just hasn't been able to get over the hump. And Trevor Lawrence, 1-1 in the playoffs, has never got past the divisional round. And then there's Jared Goff. And if you listen to this podcast enough, you know I'm a big fan of Jared Goff. I don't think he's great. I think he's pretty darn good, though. I'm still not convinced that I want him at his own 12-yard line needing to drive the field to win a Super Bowl or to win a big game. But not throwing shade on Jared Goff. I said a few years ago he was so undeserving of the shade people throw on him, Jared Goof, and all that nonsense. He's a good quarterback. I saw this coming, leading Detroit back to the playoffs. Still not convinced he is the guy, though. So that leaves the final group that I'm calling the dudes, 6 guys that I think have it all, that are most likely to win a Super Bowl. 2 of them have already done it, Patrick Mahomes and Matthew Stafford. And I'm not putting these in any order. 6 guys, Mahomes and Stafford, I think are at the top, though. Another one is Josh Allen. Things have kind of fallen apart for him in playoff games at times. Not all his fault, but I don't have any doubt that he can get it done if he gets to a Super Bowl. And another guy kind of similar to Josh Allen, he just has all the talent in the world, Kirk Cousins. He just needs to be in the right place. He can get it done. Guy that doesn't get the love he deserves. And then there's Jalen Hurts and Tua. So talented, and they are in good situations. But regardless of that, if they get the opportunity, do I think they could win a Super Bowl? Absolutely. So those are my dudes: Mahomes, Stafford, Allen, Cousins, Hurts, and Tua. And then we look at this from an NFC perspective. Who is the best quarterback in the NFC? Who is most likely to win a Super Bowl? It's got to be Stafford and Hurts, right? Followed by Cousins. And if we look at those categories I talked about, who is the toughest of these three? Stafford, Cousins, and Hurts? Man, you got me. I'd probably lean towards Stafford. Who has the best mobility? Obviously Hurts. Cousins and Stafford kind of fall in that same category. They can move around in the pocket a little bit, but they're not going to hurt you with their legs. They're certainly not statues back there. Who prepares the most? From what I know, is probably Stafford. Stafford, Cousins, and Hurts, the three guys at the top of the NFC. And if it's up to me, if I have a Super Bowl game tomorrow morning, which one would I want leading my team? Come on, it's Matthew Stafford. That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Our handle is at laramsup.com. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.